Hey, everybody. Welcome to Popular Unknown Paintball Podcast Live. I don't know if you noticed, but I finally got my intro up and going while I do the podcast. It's been something I've been wanting to do for weeks now, and I've known how to do it. I was just too damn lazy, and I admit that thoroughly. So welcome to, I believe this is episode 14. It's hard to believe that I've come that far, and I've done this many live shows. I know to a lot of people that's not a lot, but to me, it's just, I don't know, I'm finding it very cool. Now, tonight I had a special guest, and unfortunately, that person was unable to make it. And so I put a call out, and one of my more loyal followers, if you want to call it like follower, friend, listener, I don't know. I'm still having a weird time with this because I consider everybody friends, but that doesn't really explain what it is. Anyway, his name is Matt Autrey, and we're going to get to know each other, and we're going to get to know each other with you join us. And it's possible that we may have a couple people pop in along the way, but in any case, Matt, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Thanks, man.
Whew. You're welcome. Oh, somebody said that was cool. So, and then Lord Kingboat showed us a piece of Dorito, and he's on Twitch. And that's kind of neat because I don't normally have people watching on Twitch, but I put it on Twitch just because I can, because it's free.
Yeah.
I am going to cheat. I am going to fire up my phone here, so bear with me a second. And because I do this, because sometimes where it says that was cool, like this right here, they haven't signed into Steamboat, so I can't, or SteamYard, I should say, so I can't see who said it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start streaming this. There we go. And I'm just going to put that there, and then I can cheat, and I know when who said what. So yeah. So welcome to the show. Sorry about that. I should have had that set up a little bit sooner, but you're used to the show. You know that I don't really have a set organized plan.
No, man, that's what makes it fun, right?
Yeah.
If it was easy, anybody could do it, right?
Well, you know what? Anybody really can do it, and there's a lot of people that do. So,
yeah.
Oh, Ben saying nice intro, Steve. Thank you much, guys. I created that intro a long time ago. Well, that's not true. I had Lex create it for me. Lex is my guy, my animated graphics guy, and he's actually given me a bunch of commercials. So I may run them in here along the way. If you watch any of my old YouTube videos, you might have seen them thrown in from time to time. Well, now I can do them live.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, I'm sorry. So how long have you been listening, like, to the show?
Gosh, probably. I think I found your show off of. Do you know Brad Gruitt?
Yes, I know Brad Gruitt.
Yeah. So Brad had linked one of your shows to me because I was asking him some questions, and that was probably December, I think.
Okay.
And he was like, yo, go back, listen to all the podcasts and everything. There's a lot of good information in it. So I said, okay. And here we are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome. I've actually had Brad on the show.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. And to this day, he is the most listened to podcast, like audio only podcast that I have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got something like, oh, 1 second. I can actually look this up and I can tell you. He has, let me just 355 downloads.
There you go.
Yeah, which is beating the next follower, which is Nikki of team captain at Destiny Midwest, by over 100.
Jeez.
Yeah. And Nikki's beating Bud Orr.
Whew, man.
Like, I do not know how Bud Orr is not my #1 podcast. I don't understand that.
That man's a legend.
Hey,
there we go.
I literally had my internet go out.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, now I feel less bad. I thought it was me.
No, it wasn't you. My internet went out, and I do not know what happened. So, hey, everybody, sorry about that.
The madman. Look, if it can go wrong, it probably will.
Exactly. So, yeah, we were talking about Brad Gruitt. Anyway, how long have you been playing paintball?
This is year 17 for me.
17.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, started in 2003 at a birthday party for some kids from my
Nice.
school, and it just kind of stuck. Got obsessed with it and got the bug, stayed with it. Uh, Played all the way through, like through college and all that stuff. Then I walked away for a little while and came back probably 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what's your favorite type of paintball play? Like, I mean, I know you said you played a little bit of tournaments and things like that.
Yep.
But what's your favorite style?
So far, right now, it'd probably be either like big games, like big scenario games, or it'd be like walk on rec ball. I play a lot of pump.
Right.
Like I've got an axe and I've got, some of the cool toys and they're fun. But to me, there's something about going out there, like super limited paint. Like I've got a stock class Phantom, I've got a sniper, I've got, some of that stuff. Playing super limited paint against people that aren't is just like the challenge. There's nothing like it. Love it.
Right. Oh, I've done that too, but I'm not a fan of stock class. I don't know why. I think it's because that's how I started.
Yeah.
And we were strapping oil can, loaded oil cans to our thing and stuff like that. And like it was just one of those. I don't know. I have a hard time going back. I think my favorite paintball was when everybody was open class pump.
Yeah.
I think that's like when everybody just, I don't know, the speed of being able to play pump is just, as far as I'm concerned, where it's at. But I have no problem. I love having my semis and whatnot. And now I'm loving these new mechanical space guns. Like, don't get me wrong, I
Yeah.
love my autocockers
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I've got an automag coming in any day now. It's cleared the border. So yeah, but I don't know. I still like the semi-auto and just being able to unleash when I want to.
Yeah. And I think mech is like a good bridge in the gap, between, because not everybody likes to go out there and shoot one for every 25 the other guys shooting back at you, right?
Right.
So, but I'm sure you've seen it too, especially here at our local fields. We've seen, the turnover rate super high. So you get a kid that comes in at 14, 15, he picks up a space gun, he practices with the local tournament team, like he gets pretty good, gets really good, finds the woods, starts playing with them, realizes there's not a lot of challenge in shooting, rental players or rec ball players with 10 and a half balls a second, 12 balls a second, whatever it is.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, well, this is dumb. I've mastered this, and they leave. So
You know what? I'm not sure if this is dumb so much as they have a hard time finding that home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because if you've got a good group of people that click together, at least this is what I've found, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you have a good group of people that click together, then it doesn't matter if you're playing with pistols or you're playing with pumps or you're playing with semis, you know what I mean? Or you can swap out, change the day. Like, I know there was a lot of times where I just wanted to play and have fun, and so I left my super cocker in the trunk, and I left all my tournament gear in the trunk, and I just wore old BDUs, and I had an older beat up autococker that didn't look so fancy. It still ran mint. Like, make no mistake, it was still mint, but it didn't look like intimidating. Nowadays, I like all my gear just flashy, and if you can't handle that, so be it. But
you'll be all right.
Yeah. But no, there was a time there back in the day where I used to walk onto a field and people would see me and they would walk off.
Yeah.
And it's like, and all it was is they saw my gear and they thought that they were in for a beating. And
Yeah. So like I think mech does a lot to, like I said, help bridge that gap, help slow it down a little bit. Especially a lot of the fields are switching over to what are the GOG guns and enemies, I think, for rental guns or EMEX and when they see, somebody that's been playing a while walk out with one of those, they're like, hey, that's the same thing I've got. Okay, level playing field. At
well,
least
I
gear
know
wise.
you've because you watched the podcast, you've seen Trevor Van Dorser. He was
Mhm.
on the Automag show.
Yeah.
His, I want to say cousin, I don't think it's a brother, but it's Jeff Van Dorser. They're related. They might
Mhm.
as well be brothers because they're so close together, but I think
Yeah.
it's actually cousins, so don't quote me on this.
Mhm.
But and the two of them run Combat Pursuit together. Sorry. Combat Pursuit together, the field. But he would often go out on playing tournaments and playing games with just the lowest tech gun that he could, just because he goes, hey, I rock this this die, or I rock this enemy at the tournament and I did fantastic. So, like, I can say without hesitation that this gun is amazing. Now, he made sure he cleaned it up and he made sure he put proper barrels on and stuff, but I mean, truthfully,
Right.
those little guns are wicked.
Yeah. The only one of them I've gotten to shoot is the enemy.
Right.
And so one thing we do occasionally is we'll leave all the gear at home except for like masks and show up in like t-shirts and blue jeans and rent gear and just hang out with people. And there's a field in Savannah, Georgia that rented GOG enemies for the rental guns, and I was blown away. That gun is phenomenal for $150.
I've never shot one. I'd like to get my hands on one. I just shot the CVO for the first time in
Yeah,
Denver, and I wasn't even shooting a CVO. I was shooting an OG Ironman CVO. So it had the trigger worked on it and stuff.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, sweet.
you know what? It really was. Well, did you see the shooting video I did?
Yeah,
I had
absolutely.
so many wild guns in my hand in
Yeah,
Denver.
that was
I was
crazy.
just like, "Ah."
Kid in a candy shop.
I really was, except without the diabetes. Like, it was
Yeah.
just it was just it
Yeah,
was
man.
all plus, no negative. The only downside is A, my Automag didn't show up in time, thanks to the US Postal Service,
Gotta
and
love 'em.
B, the guns that I did have, I couldn't bring any of them home with me.
Yeah, you had to give them back. That's the worst of it.
It really is. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sean
I think
Halpman saying overstimulated. Yeah, valid.
it happens.
So where are you playing? Like, where are you situated right now?
So I am in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So the local field here is Black Ops. Um,
Right?
yeah. So like, and I think they've got a couple. There's one in like South Carolina. There's one here. I don't know if they've got another store or another field somewhere, but it's super rec oriented. Saturdays tend to be rec day and Sundays tournament day. So
Right?
no matter what your speed is, you can kind of you can go get your game on
Right.
however you want to do it. But I like them. They're really good people. And the thing that blew me away is the first time I was in, they were working with a kid on his I had some kind of spider clone that just they always blow the striker O-rings, always.
Right.
So they had his gun apart, and the guy fixed it, and the dad pulls out the credit card and goes, "Okay, what does it cost?" And they're like, "No, don't worry about it. It's fine."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, I respect these people. I like that."
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, what is your favorite gun to play with right now as a general rule? Because there's always that one gun that you just want to go, "Mm."
Oh man, if I had to pick one,
Yeah.
I've got a 96 right feed sniper 2. That's
Okay.
it's been to big games. It's been to walk on play. I've probably put 9,000 hours, 10,000 hours behind that gun. Like I know
Right.
exactly what it'll do always. That's
Right.
probably it. That's probably my number one. But
Okay. Now, so what kind of a barrel do you run on it?
so yeah, I use the Deadly Wind, the null, the one that does not take the inserts, and
Okay.
then I use a 680 Lapco sizer behind it,
Okay.
just enough to stop rollouts. Like, yeah, I don't know. I've used freaks and ultralights and all that stuff, and I haven't seen a big performance gain.
Right.
But with this setup in particular, I can shoot really terrible paint and it still shoots okay. When the paint man brings eggs at field paint only fields, there's not a lot you can do. You got to
Right.
deal with it. And this is the best way I found to deal with it. Super short back and then a big like 690 front, super heavy ported. So like it's quiet, shoots reasonably straight ish, and it works. So
Awesome. So Now, do you have like a group of people that you normally play with, or do you just sort of
Yeah.
show up and?
Yeah. So like here, I actually just moved here probably like 5 or 6 months ago,
Oh,
but
okay. From
um,
where?
from Columbia, South Carolina, which is
Oh,
where
okay.
I've been, pretty much my whole 30 years of existence. So yeah. But so there, like we've kind of got a group that goes and we called it like a travel team from back in the day, where like you put your
Okay.
crew together and we'd show up to other local or other fields in the state or within a couple states and go play with whoever wherever, and then we all crew up together and go to big games like Fulda Gap and is the big scenario game down
Right.
here, and we went to was it Free Finale at Wayne's World in Florida and all that stuff. So really
So
cool.
what? So what's the farthest you've ever traveled to play then?
Um, Farthest I've been, I think, is Tennessee, which is about
Okay.
7 hours, 7 or 8
Nice.
hours. Yeah, I
I
think that's
so have
far.
you beat.
Oh yeah. Please, you're coming down from Canada. It's different. That doesn't count.
I'm on planes for 8 hours.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, how long did it take to get to Denver for the event?
Well, that's a hard question to answer because, well, no, it is because the border's closed, right?
Right.
So you're not allowed to go. You're not allowed to come into the United States unless you have a legitimate reason to go. And
Mhm.
playing paintball does not classify. Now,
Right.
because I help out with the Alley Remembered Foundation and I'm a part of the organization, I was able to justify it as a business trip, which it was. And I
Mm,
wasn't technically paid, but that being said, it was still I was there to assist and whatnot. And so that was grand. But because I knew I was going to have to talk to the border guards, I showed up early because I figured,
gotcha.
let's go show up, let's talk to them, let's get through customs, and then wait. So I showed up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and
Mm,
then Denver's an hour behind, and then I showed up in Denver airport at around 6:30 p.m. So it would have been 7:30. So it was like 12 hours. Um,
jeez.
and actually, that's not even fair because I showed up at the Toronto Pearson Airport at 8 a.m. ish. So I was on a train at like 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning. So take the first train to get to the second train to get to the airport so that I can get to the second airport so that I can finally get to Denver.
Jeez, man. Yeah.
Everybody asks is like, was there like a dog sled involved? It's like, no, summertime. Maybe in
Yeah,
the
that's
winter
so
I'd have
good.
a dog sled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Like I said. Go ahead.
So, what do you think your favorite your favorite game has been?
Um, my favorite so far, at least like for longevity's sake, is definitely like Folda Gap. We went one year, got to meet like Greg Hastings and Simon from
Right,
Inception and all that stuff. Like that's really cool. I mean, it's the closest thing to World Cup that like scenario guys get, I think. Um,
right,
like as far as like one-offs, there was a MPP game back in like 2006 at a field in Charleston. It
right.
was I think it was a Iwo Jima, maybe something like that. It was a World War II game, and that was
Okay.
probably my favorite like that I've played in so far. But
So I'm sorry. So the Iwo Jima game was your favorite game
probably,
playing?
yeah, that's probably my best memory. And then like Folda, as far as things that are still running, that's the one we mark on
Gotcha.
the calendar every year.
So if there was a player, who would you want to meet?
Ooh, probably Marcus Davis for sure.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite people like in this world. He's just super nice guy, and we
Well,
kicked around putting together a like a classic team together to play
right.
some of the big woods ball events. And when I reached out to him just with some questions, and he was like, "Yo, here, let's set up a call. We'll walk you through everything." So love to
Well,
meet him.
Marcus Davis is asleep right now. I know
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
England.
yeah.
But I think you mentioned there was two other people you wanted to meet.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man.
Hey, Matt, say
What's up,
hello to
man?
Justin Owen.
Hey Justin, how are you, man?
What's up, my man?
Oh, big fan, dude.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. That's a great honor.
Yes, sir.
Now, I was talking, I'm going to break the tension here a little bit because Matt's kind of blown away. I can see
Yeah.
that. Matt is actually very interested in starting to play some mechanical ball. And so I didn't know if Justin, if you might have some advice for him when he gets into, because as soon as COVID ends, he's actually thinking about playing a little bit of mechanical tournament stuff.
Well, what's got you interested in it? Tell me what is it that's kind of sparked the interest for you?
So playing tournaments from back in the day, like we played, it was 15 BPS, wide open airball. Fell in love with the woods, many years later. I play a lot of pomp now. Like I think mech is a cool thing for like rec players and stuff like that. But being able to compete without having to be, quite such a crazy like time investment, because we're all adults now. Like I work a real job and I have responsibilities and stuff like that. I can't spend 20 hours a week playing paintball. Even though I wish I could. I just, we don't have it. So seems like a great time. And I think I can find 10 dudes to come run through the woods and shoot mechanical guns for a weekend. So
yeah, I mean, you're already there. You've got the right mindset, and that's the stuff that's kind of brought me back to it. So I mean, I played way back in the day. My first game was in 1987, and I kind of grew up in the woods, and then I was there when it came out of the woods and first started being behind the, the water pipes, the corrugated pipes, and then pallets and industrial cable spools and anything that we could find to throw together and make a field. Yeah. And it kind of morphed into the airball stuff like you're talking about. And now there's this resurgence. And the cool thing about it is, I mean, what you describe is exactly what makes this resurgence so cool, is that it's all of us guys that have real jobs and regular lives and things outside of paintball that were really responsible for the growth of tournament paintball and the explosion of competitive paintball in the first place, that are coming back to it. And it's just the best thing. So exactly what you're describing. I mean, the guys on my team, or I should say myself with our team, we're all in the same boat. We're all family men. We're all a big family, and we get together and play. And that's just kind of our vacation and our getting away from it all before we go back to the grind. And it's just getting out on the field and hanging out at these events and having a wonderful time. And the mechanical resurgence that we're seeing happening, I think that's what speaks to everybody for exactly that reason. You go to these events, and I'll use the example of the World Cup. Back in, like, I don't know, were you playing back in like 1998, 1999, 2000, what I call the kind of the golden age of tournament paintball?
I started in 2003. Okay. So I either the tail end of it or just missed it. Yeah.
So this is a really interesting thing. So you'd have, the huge tournaments, and then there would be 10 really large airball fields, and in some cases 8 airball fields, a hyperball field, some other hybrid field, a woods field here and there near the end of it. And you'd have, 150, 200 5-man teams, 10-man teams coming from all over the world. And realistically speaking, 90 to 95% of them probably didn't have a chance to win. They were just throwing together, and it was vacation. They were playing paintball on vacation. They were bringing their families. They were showing up down in Kissimmee in Florida and playing and just having a great experience. And you'd get to play against pros that you read about in the magazines and people that you had never met before, and rub shoulders with those guys under the trade tent and look at the newest things that were coming out with the sport that you love, and then get out there and play some paintball and test your mettle. And then after it was all done and you're done working for the day playing paintball, then you went down to Old Town and you got in the slingshot and jumped in at the bar, and you're drinking cocktails next to, who knows, Chris LaSoya or Danny Love. Or
don't even get me started on Chris LaSoya.
But that's what it is for us. So you look at something like the Iron City Classic, rest in peace, Tim, but what he was able to create, and this huge explosion of people coming out of the woodwork, coming back to 10-man ball, and everybody leaves that event having had a great time. I mean, it's because you're getting together and doing exactly what you're describing. So you're already there. You're going to have a great time.
Yeah, man. Like we're super excited for it. Just waiting on stuff to open back up.
You and me both.
I think the nice thing also about 10-man, not that I've ever really actually played it, but I've been around it enough to know that when you get into woods ball and you get into the big fields, every single person or every team that plays has like a puncher's chance or a swinger's chance, because there's always that opportunity for somebody to blow a tape line. You just miss a little bit of communication, and then even the best of teams, maybe not the Saber Wolves, but the best of teams can fold because one little fast guy with wheels that did something unexpected went in and just started tearing up from behind.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. The nice thing about 10-man, and I mean, I grew up back in the old days playing more 5-man. I mean, I and Steve and I talked about this. We were, I was kind of a 5-man monster, and we fell in love with 10-man before it kind of was assassinated. And the nice thing about 10-man, what was so interesting and the difference was that in 5-man, every player really mattered. You couldn't afford to sacrifice players to take position. So the game would start and you'd mostly have kind of conservative breakouts, and there was more individual play working together as unit. And but if you lost one person in a 5-man game, that means 20% of your team, and it's very hard to come back from those kinds of things.
Yeah.
In 10-man, you can sacrifice players to get key positions. And when you see these hyperball fields, like the hyperball field that that was built out at Urban Assault for the Iron City Classic, and then some of these ones like the Snake on the Tampa hyperball field, where these really key positions, and you realize that you have to battle it out for that position, it becomes much more of a chess match where you're willing to sacrifice pawns to get the key positions and try to checkmate the other team. It brings a whole new level to the game, and it is really, really, for me, it's where it's at. It's walking fields beforehand, coming up with different strategies. Who are you going to play? Are we playing the Iron Men on this game? Or are we playing Dynasty? And it's something else. And it's kind of you to bring it to Saber Wolves. We've been very successful, but we've had teams that have come out and punched us in the mouth. And I mean, you don't have to hide behind anything. Anybody can beat anybody on a 10-man field. You just have to do your homework and do a good job and then put it together.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the draw too. Is it's like, man, where else, short of like playing in the NXL and going pro, where else do you get to play against people that like you said, you've read about in the magazine, or people you've seen on podcasts, or you've heard, whatever. Where else do you get to do that? Like, there's not a lot of places that I know of. Maybe I'm the idiot. I don't know, but there's not a lot of places that I know of where you can do that kind of stuff. And I think that's part of the draw for me too.
It's also a good stepping stone. I've mentioned this, Simon Stevens and some of the guys I've had a lot of conversations with about how there's a big jump between playing recreational paintball, which is how most of us get started, right? You show up at the local field, and there's a big jump between playing recreational paintball and X-ball. It's a big jump. And on the Saber Wolves, I've got a couple of guys on our squad that the very first time they played in the woods was with me, and they had been playing paintball for almost 10 years. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. This is a tree. This is how you do it. And so the nice thing about the mechanical format, the classic format that's coming back, is it's a natural stepping stone from recreational paintball to competition paintball. You don't have to give up one or the other to do what you want to do. And so that's really what drove the growth of competition paintball back in the day, was these guys that would get together from their local field. They'd throw together 10 players and then take the trip out and play. And it wasn't a big leap. You didn't have to do anything much differently. You just showed up with your squad and played the paintball that you've been playing recreationally for so long. So it's good. Where are you? I think Steve was telling me that you're one of the Carolinas.
Yeah, I'm in North Carolina right now, in Fayetteville.
Okay.
Actually, so
is that anywhere near the Paintball Central?
So that's probably 45 minutes from me.
Okay.
Yeah. That's part of it. I haven't been there yet.
I think that's Tyler Humphrey's field. Tyler Humphrey of Trauma fame from back in the day. And so we went in July of last year. We went and played. They had a CFOA 10-man, and we played there. And we were fortunate enough to be able to come away with a victory. But there was a mounds field that was there, and I love playing mounds. I absolutely love the mounds.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite formats ever since the original 1997. My first time playing the mounds, 1997, at the original Urban Assault, was so much fun and such a different style of gameplay. So Tyler's got just a spectacular facility with this really, really top-notch, extremely symmetric and well-maintained hyperball field, mounds field. Of course, he's got an X-ball field there too, some woods field, and then he built kind of this hybrid field. And that's something that we're seeing now that we didn't see back in the day, are these kind of combination fields, hybrid fields, so to speak, that are just So much fun. You're gonna have to check that place out, Paintball Central. It's good stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. We'll make it a point. Make a ride up for sure.
So do you have these guys? Are you all set and y'all talking and Facebook messaging back and forth and ready for an event? And
So we've got like 6 that are. So the problem we're running into, right, is you get 10 guys, right? 5 of them have the skill, 3 of them have the money, and 7 of them have the time, and everyone else is like, yeah, I'll be there. And then the day before, everyone flakes and no one shows. So we're just kind of working through some logistics right now, like trying to figure out, what it's going to look like and what it's going to take to get some of our younger guys like actually on the field and actually, kitted up and stuff like that. We run a pretty broad range. I've got them as young as like 17, 18, and then, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, about 30, and then I've got up to, like late 40s, early 50s. So it's just finding a way to bring it all together. It's we're having some logistic issues. I'll say that. But
Heavy as the head that wears the crown.
it's true.
Right. Amen.
But
Yeah.
what other competition sport can you do that? What other competition sport can you have a 17-year-old on the field with a 55-year-old and everybody in between and doing different things? I mean, to me, that's just something that's so cool. And now, I mean, multi-generational. I mean, I've talked with Steve before about how, my father at the age of 78 plays pretty much every weekend for walk-on, and then he recently came back and played his first 10-man tournament, and I guess first tournament event in 20 years. And then, of course, my daughter plays on the Sabre Bulls with me, my oldest daughter. And so it's what other competition sport can you have 3 generations that are playing together and doing these types of things? That's something that's special about paintball, is that you don't have to be something specific in order to be successful. You have to learn how to make yourself good at whatever you've got in front of you, so you can kind of turn the game into what it needs to be for you to be successful. And that's just, I love that about paintball.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite things about the old Dye family, and it had I believe it was Keeley Watson, but it was stepfather, mother, daughter, cousin, and the family was literally a family all playing together and being competitive.
Yes. I reffed them. Their first event, I think, was the 1996 5-man ZAP International Amateur Open out at Deborah Dion Krishke's field and just outside of Pittsburgh. And and that was really something to see them all on the field. Of course, Keeley was tiny, and they were out in the field all playing and really did very well. And of course, later on, were able to replicate a fair amount of success in Amateur B and the old NPPL, PSP 10-man. So really a lot of fun. So it's good stuff. I mean, it's for me, paintball has been an incredibly life-altering thing. I cannot imagine what my life would look like if I had not gone and played paintball in 1987. I imagine at some point I would have kind of fallen back into it, but I mean, every facet of my life has been touched. Some of the closest friends that I've ever made in my life have been through paintball and that I still hang out with, and people that I would not have met otherwise. It's just such this fantastic fraternity. And the neat thing is when you get your 10 together and you're really solid core and everybody kind of becomes addicted and they all buy in, then it's going to become an addiction where you can't wait for the next one. You leave an event, you'll have the big fish stories. You'll be like, oh man, I could have done this, or someone will be upset because you thought you hit that guy, but the ref didn't get in fast enough. And there'll be a gazillion stories. And then you're going, when's the next one? When's the next one? It's going to be something else.
Yeah, man. We're super excited. Can't wait to do it.
Excellent.
It's going to be good.
So Matt, I'm gonna interrupt just quickly for a second. Justin's actually on call at work, and he could have to leave at any time. So not to put you on the spot, but do you have any questions for him while he's here?
Oh man, yeah. Let me think. So when you're walking a woods ball field compared to like a speedball field or a hyperball field, how can you determine what key spots would be? Like, I mean, I know you kind of want to fight to the 50s, and then you look for like angles and stuff, but like aside from super basic, like any pointers for people that aren't used to walking fields like that?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit different in the way that I walk fields. I think I would consider myself very systematic in the way that my teammates kind of joke about it, because I will go out on the field and I'll oftentimes go to a field a day early. So before everybody else will be showing up on Thursday to start walking fields, and I will have already walked them myself on Wednesday. And I try to draw out a good diagram of the field, with especially the 50-yard line bunkers well marked across the whole field. So I'll draw out the two sides of the field from above, and then diagram out, and then I look very carefully at steps from starting station to bunkers. I'm probably giving away some information, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I will walk steps from key bunkers to other bunkers, and I try to think about how pathways are going to take me there or take my teammates there, and at what point we stop and shoot. On the Sabre Wolves, we are huge believers in snap shooting and getting guns in the game very quickly, and we try to think about kind of unconventional positions. And so I've long since felt like if you can get good at doing things that are not expected, then it gives you a leg up on your opponents. And I've seen time and time again those kinds of things really work. And so first and foremost, when I walk a field, it's just getting a good diagram, a good picture of the field, and an understanding of the way that people are likely going to break out, and then start thinking about what are the practical options. And then I kind of have this mantra that my kids, if they heard this, they would roll their eyes and say, "Dad," but that is, I never do anything without a reason. There's some reason why I'm going to do something, and that's pretty much true in all facets of my life, whether it's medicine or paintball. And so if we're going to put somebody somewhere, there needs to be a reason for it. And then there's always a next move. So kind of in my practice, medical practice, to say, look, there's always a next step. There's always a next plan. There's always something that we can fall back on. And so I'm always looking for that. And I do think that our squad is really good at walking fields. And then before the events, we sit and we talk about it from everybody's perspective. And I think that's one of our strengths. We're very good at that. And everybody knows where everybody else is. We look at blind shots. We look at places where we can pinch people. We've figured out how to sucker people in from time to time. We'll give another team a bunker that we know we can pinch somebody out of, and we'll give them that bunker because we feel like they think that it's a strong place where they can survive or where they can do something from it. So we will intentionally leave that open and let somebody take it, and then we'll go after them. So that's just part of the chess matching of paintball, and I think that's something that we're really good at. You can walk a field and win a game before ever taking the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes total sense.
That's a long-winded.
No, man, I appreciate it.
But that's a good question. Walking fields is something that a lot of the younger generation has never really learned or understood. They're used to practicing a field for 2 weeks before the event and figuring out the way. And it's a whole different matter when you've got to spend a day before an event, walking, learning, and figuring those things out.
You know what's really cool about the Woods Ball World Classic events that are coming up, which is Kevin Donaldson, Marcus Davis, and there's going to be some more events announced soon. They're not allowing anybody anywhere near the final fields. So you can show up early, you can walk the 3 fields and that everybody plays on, but when it comes to the finals, you've got like an hour or 2 on a blind field before you go into the finals, and it's all paintball IQ, and it's all about communication, and just I love that better than anything. It's like you're walking in blind, and it takes all the tactics. You can have all the tactics you want, and then when you get to that one spot, it's a fresh field, and you have no idea what's coming. I love that.
Yeah, that sounds exciting to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I can see both sides to it. I think that in something like that, like I'm not against things being equal. I think that and so I do think that when you have a field like Urban Assault or the Tampa field, where you've got, if you're used to playing those fields, you have an advantage. And then for a team like ours that doesn't live nearby and can't play those fields every weekend, it gives us a disadvantage. And so, but on the flip side, I do think that there's something to be said about being able to walk a field beforehand and the before preparation. And again, that's an area where I think we particularly shine. We're very good at walking fields and figuring out game plans in advance. And so I don't have a problem with that. That wouldn't keep us from playing.
Right.
I would probably argue to be able to walk it the day before.
Well,
the teams that
you're welcome.
Don't let them walk it. Don't let them near that field. They'd be like, hell no.
See, that's the thing. That final field, nobody gets to play. Like the home team may play it a little bit just to make sure everything's even and adjust the bunkers. So it's not like you can win the game from a flip of a coin, like one side being stronger than the other. But it's nobody's allowed to play it. It's set up just for the tournament, and everybody's walking in blind. So it's all paintball IQ.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. We've got a fairly smart team.
I love how your face sort of was, okay, we're doing this. You're like a duck on a pond. It's just like, all right, calm, composure.
Well, I'll tell you. So on that, you like stories. So here's an interesting.
I love stories.
So as you know, the Sabre Wolves' first event of this resurgence was the 2016 Woodsball World Cup that Jerry held at his paintball sports field up in New York.
Right.
And we were in really good shape going into the after rounds, but we had to catch flights, so we left. We were qualified to go into the finals, and then we all kind of looked at each other and said, none of us want to change our flights, and so we came to do what we wanted to do, and then we left. But when we were still there and discussing whether or not to go, I went to the captain's meeting, and the organizers had proposed that for the finals, they were going to expand and widen the field, and the borders were going to change compared to what we had played 12 games with prior. And all of the captains in attendance voted against that. We all said, we've been playing this tournament, this field as it is for this entire tournament, and none of us want to change it going into the finals. And so on one hand, I understood what Jerry and those guys were trying to do, and I don't have a problem with that really. But left up to me, I like being able to walk things in advance. Now, if you give me my guys and you give my opponent their guys, and you say, you guys have never seen this field, and you're going to take flag station A, and they're going to take flag station B, and be ready, the horn is going to go off in 60 seconds. I'm comfortable with that. I'll do it. I'm not going to, that's not going to keep us away from it. I think we have an advantage, but I think that if you're really good at walking fields, which I think we are, then I think it hurts us a little bit, comparatively speaking.
Well, I think you get about an hour to walk the fields or something like that. Once you've gotten to the finals, it's like, okay, everybody take a quick break. You've got so much time to walk the fields, make yourself a battle plan, and then go. Yeah. It's not like completely blind, but it's not like you walking in, drawing maps. And getting out
I will draw a map. I'll draw a map. I don't have a problem with that. I don't want to make it sound like I'm detracting on it or anything like that. I've never, to the best of my recollection, I've never played an event where it was done that way. But that's okay with me. I'll still play. I won't complain. If they ask me my opinion, I'll give my opinion, but you won't hear me complain about it.
No.
Yeah, I get it, man. That's awesome.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Like, I know you're a busy guy, and I know you're out technically doing your work thing. So thank you. And I'm sure Matt appreciates it too.
Yeah,
the look on his face was just the best.
Thank you so much, man.
Listen, Matt, thank you for the props, my friend. It's a great honor. Steve, I love you, my friend. And y'all take care. Matt, I'll look forward to seeing you at one of these events. Make sure you come by and say hi and hang, because that's part of the fun of it.
Absolutely, man. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
See you later, Justin. Thank you so much.
How do I get out of this?
I'll bump. I'll kick you out if you want.
Yeah, kick me out.
There you go. Kick from studio and kick guest.
What a guy, man.
Got you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So
I want
cool,
you to know something. You now feel exactly the same way I do right before almost every podcast when I talk with one of my guests.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's really, really cool. Never experienced anything like that.
And now you had the introduction. So when the time comes and you guys are in the same area, you can just sort of walk up.
Yeah, definitely. And
Because you two are now officially friends.
Hey,
I mean,
we did a thing today. It's a good thing.
yeah.
It's awesome, man.
So did that surprise you though?
Yeah, I'll say. Surprise ain't quite the word, just a little bit.
And you're like, are there gonna be other guests? Well, maybe.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah. I'll see how it works. I get it.
Well, you know what? I love having people on that are famous, and I love having people on like yourself, which are just really passionate about the game. Because truthfully, there's no difference between you, me, Justin, whoever else might show up.
Great. Thanks.
No problem. But the thing is like we all have these great stories and we all have this enjoyment. And I was actually talking about this with Fred Schultz the other night after his what's it called, closed, his podcast closed. We were talking, and like Fred Schultz is very successful in his way, and Fred Valente, who's Freddie the Ref. I don't know, have you watched their podcasts at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think just a couple weeks ago, I watched the one he did with Bob Long, and then he did like an hour-long one, a really long one with Fred Schultz too. It was really cool.
Yeah. No, I think that one was with Kiko, with Keith Kissel.
Oh, okay.
I think Keith Kissel was interviewing Bob Long, but
yeah, it might have been.
But yeah, Keith Kissel now does the True Paintball Religion on Thursday nights.
Oh, okay.
So you've got Mr. Fred and Friends on Tuesday, and then you've got the True Paintball Religion on Thursday. But regardless, the topic of the conversation was how we're all at different stages in our lives, but you know, like, so speaking of possible guests, hey Tony, not Tony.
Way to go, Steve.
The madman.
What's up, Matt?
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Living the dream.
So I don't know if you noticed, but we just had Justin Owen on.
Man, you look terrible with names today, Steve.
I am.
Unbelievable.
So how are you doing today, Chris?
We're good, man. We're good. I was busy on another call, but I was like, I got to jump in on this real quick, so I got a couple seconds for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chris LaSoya, meet Matt. Now, I think Matt actually met you once a few years ago.
A long time ago. I think it was at it might have been MAO. That was in like Rock Hill, at PPC in Rock Hill,
right,
South Carolina. Yeah, nice. I just bumped into you and said, "Hey, I was nothing to nobody. We had played 3-man the week before, and that was kind of it, man." But huge inspiration.
I love that tournament. That was funny. That was a good tournament, man. I liked it out there.
Yeah. It was hot, but it was good.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of Coors Lights going down in that tournament.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Jeez.
Now, Matt, LaSoya doesn't have a whole lot of time. Do you have any questions that you might want to ask this gentleman?
Jeez, man, you're killing me.
Well, while you're thinking,
no pressure, Matt.
No pressure at all,
right?
No pressure.
So Matt is actually I'll cut in a little bit for a second. Matt is actually thinking about getting into the mechanical aspect of things. I know that you're out of the electronic for the most part, and you're starting to really get involved with the mechanical. Do you have any suggestions for Matt LaSoya?
Oh, it's the best. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's I don't have a lot of time to go out to practices and do all the pro stuff anymore, like the electronic and the XLs, because it's very time consuming. You know, my wife and I have our own business. We're a little busy doing our things and have our own businesses. You know, just busy with life in general. I don't have to go out and practice for mechanical at all. Those guys are easy to shoot. So, it's definitely something. Have you played mechanical before in the woods or anything?
So like I've been doing a lot of like big games and been playing like pump at big games, and that's kind of it. So, this is a whole new thing for me.
Nice, but I mean, it's just best suggestion. Get a pair of my goggles, push goggles. Definitely do that. Shoot an EMAC. I mean, if you don't want to spend a bunch of money getting into it, buy one of the EMACs. I mean, they're relatively inexpensive, but that's all I shoot at these pro tournaments. And these guys are out there shooting, $800-900 mechanical gun, and I'm blowing their faces off. But I if you're gonna get a gun, look at the EMACs, look at the Eclipse stuff. I mean, there's other stuff out there, But some people just want to put their toe in the water, so to speak, and they don't want to commit 100% on a big buy and a gun, because some of those guns are expensive. Just get an EMAC, and just kind of test out the waters and see what you think. And if you like it, you're not out too much money, and you get a better gun later.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but it's a blast. You got to play the ICPLs, ICC. God bless Tim and the rest of his soul. Got to play that. That is just a blast. There's a lot of mechanical tournaments. Where you live at anyway?
I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
There's a lot of Will's doing this tournament series up his way, Will Rock. There's a lot of these tournaments. Ira from Paintball Farm, he's doing a couple things. He's got a Moundsfield. So I think there's a lot more stuff that's going to pop up that might be closer to you, like Black Ops. I'm sure they'll do something.
Yeah.
But I think get something close and just see what you think. But definitely do it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Yeah, we can't wait.
Have you thought of a question yet?
Yeah, definitely. You got a favorite event you've been to so far, at least as far as the mechanical stuff goes?
Oh, mechanical stuff? Man, ICC. Easy.
ICC?
Yeah. I mean, they're all fun. Chicago's fun because it has a nostalgia to it, because we played those fields back, on the day.
Yeah.
Renting runs a good tournament. The Florida tournaments were fun at Central Florida Paintball Park. That was a blast. I mean, there's nothing bad about it, to be honest with you. But ICC for sure, because that has a nostalgia about it too. But Chicago ICC, would be my two favorite.
Gotcha, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, LaSoya, for stopping by. I know you're really, really tight for time, so this is like a big deal. So thank you so much for surprising this guy.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Any more questions, Matt? One more question? You sure?
Good
talk. Okay. I'm just go ahead. Anything.
As far as the push, you got something for guys with big heads? Because I'm not a small guy by any stretch.
Out of anybody, I think I have a big head, verbally and on the field. But no, we do. I mean, find out somebody. I know Tyler has some stuff at Paintball Central. Wherever it might be, check it out. We have a lot of new colors coming out. So I mean, go to pushpaintball.com. You'll see all the new stuff. They're fire. Fire. Okay. So, all right.
Absolutely, man.
You take care of yourself, Matt.
Yes, sir. You
Thanks
too.
so much.
Steve, take care of yourself, buddy.
Later.
Bye.
Ciao. I'll kick you out.
That's fine. I kick myself out.
You're killing me, man. Killing me.
Well, dude, you know what? I know this was probably going to be a fake it till you make it, but I like having some fun.
Yeah.
And I know these people, and I can call them up and I can say, hey, listen, can you spare 5 minutes? And they're like, hell yeah.
Jeez, man. Yeah, of all things I thought I'd do tonight, talk to Justin, Owen, and Chris LaSoya were not two things I thought I'd do. It's crazy. Oh, jeez. When are you coming to a 10-man? When do I get
beg your pardon?
When are you coming to one of these Mac 10-mans?
I was supposed to be at ICC this year.
Okay.
And I had invitations to go to the Woods Ball World Cup in New York. And let's see, what else was it? I know that I have invites to be at a lot of the Woods Ball Classic series. That's going to be
right,
like the Woods Ball World Classic series. Ben, if I can make it to Badlands for the ICPL in October, I will do my absolute best. I promise, because I know there's a whole lot of people out there, Destiny Midwest, that would just love to see me, Nikki, and I am the worst with names tonight. So Nikki, Robert, Adam. There's so many people in Chicago that I just love to death. So if I can make it out there, I will. I have no idea who I'll play with. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Will do, Ben. Absolutely. And this is what I love about paintball and the paintball community is that everybody just bands together. And as for cancer benefit, Kathy, I am going to do my best to be at the cancer benefit, but that is not a 10-man event. And that's what he was asking about. But yeah, I'm going to do my best to be at the cancer event. So sorry about that.
No.
So, yeah, but as far as those go, the Woodsball World Series, Woodsball. I haven't gotten the name on my tongue just yet. If you
Yeah.
haven't noticed, I make a lot of mistakes. I'm
It's great.
not that professional. I'm just a fanboy like every single one of you out there, and I just
Yep.
so. Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of 7-man. So I know that the one in New York is going to be 10-man, and
Mhm.
then I know the one in England is going to be 7-man, and it's going to bounce between the two. So hopefully they'll be playing a lot of those in 2021, or at the very least I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as far as
same
when
here.
I'm going to be playing, I don't know.
I get it.
We're both just sort of like so you didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, no, that's not things I expected. No. Like I said, of all things I planned on doing tonight, that went on my list. That went on things I thought would happen.
So now you're
very,
gonna
very
get on
cool.
so now after this is over, you're gonna get on the phone and it'll be like, dude.
Be like, hey, guess what you missed? You should have been watching.
Well, the nice thing is it's on YouTube, so you can.
Oh, great! I can just send everyone the link. Here you go. This is what I did last night. What'd you do?
Yeah, like this is all on Facebook and this is all on YouTube, so it's all readily available. So you're gonna be able to watch this over and over and over. You're gonna be able to look at your face and go,
Great.
I turned that
Sweet.
shade of red.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that's my favorite. Could always be worse.
Oh, it can definitely be worse. So, I had a question and now I lost it. I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun laughing at you.
Yeah, oh yeah, great. It's fine. Everyone else does too. It's great.
Yeah. So, who's the first person you're gonna call up after we get off the horn?
Oh, probably one of the older guys on my team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his name's Tom Moore. He's a superstar human being, great guy, and he's not gonna believe who I had conversations with.
Video evidence. So make him bet first. So make a bet with him first. Like, I guess who I talked to tonight.
Yeah.
Does he know you're on the podcast?
No.
Okay. So make a bet with him first, and then afterwards jump in.
And then be like, here, by the way, look at this in case you missed it, because I know you did. Yeah, it's great. Oh man.
Well,
yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
1 second here. Oh, people are. I'm sorry. I'm just checking Facebook. I'm bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, now, do you have any questions for me?
I mean, so you're probably looking 2021 before you'll be at some of the bigger mech events. Like, what's your next event like on the list on the calendar?
It's hard for me to answer that because I'm in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I have responsibilities too.
Yeah, I get it.
So for me to jump the border, because all the main events happen in the United States,
right,
or Europe and whatnot. I mean, not that Canada doesn't have some good stuff, but because of COVID and everything, a lot of our big events up here gone. So for me to jump down south, I have to have a business reason to go because the borders are locked. Like, you can't go for just tourism.
Right.
That's how come I was able to get to Denver for the Allie Remembered Foundation second annual charity event. That's because I'm part of the foundation. But excuse me. But that being said, I'm gonna try to make it to the Worldwide Cancer Benefit in Sacramento, California next, assuming that I can cross the border.
Gotcha.
And I believe that's in September. But with the way COVID is currently spreading on what's it called? The way that COVID is currently spreading, I don't even know if it's gonna happen. I don't want to jinx it, but I haven't tried to buy tickets or anything like that, or arrange tickets, because A, I don't know if I'll be able to cross the border, and B, I don't know if it's even gonna happen. So
yeah,
that's my concern.
I mean, that's how our schedule looks too. Everything's
Sean
Everything's
here's
TBD.
saying the Ontario Classic in October. Well, I will try, but I don't have a team. So if I'd go there, I'd just be going down to hang out for the most part. So
Yeah, I get it.
what about you? What's your next event, do you think? Just playing local for a next little while, or?
Yeah, local field here is supposed to be putting on a like a 2-day scenario game in September. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's something off the Ghost Recon video games. So we'll see. I don't know. I think we're probably going to go, and I'll wind up reffing most of it more than anything probably. But I'm gonna try to sneak on the field for at least a couple hours, get some game in. We'll see. But
Awesome.
yeah.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, we've been going for an hour, and I think you need to get on the phone and start calling people going, dude.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, man.
I will let you go, but thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I appreciate it more than you know, and never hesitate to reach out to me for anything. If you have any questions, or if there's anybody you want to meet, I may be able to do it.
I'm gonna say, yeah, I know a guy now. This is great. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
but no,
man.
if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, say hi,
Absolutely.
shoot the breeze. And
Yeah.
So
Hopefully
thank you
we'll
so
see you
much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, you have a great night. Bye
You
now.
too, man. See ya.
Well, guys, I love this show. It's one of my shorter ones, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it was so much fun. So I'm going to cut out. Place in here is boiling. I need something to drink. So play with passion, everybody, and keep your paint dry. See y'all later. Ciao.